Hi everyone, I'm Dick Beardsley. Welcome to the fishing scene. Folks, today we're doing a little filming today that I don't think too many, if any, other fishing shows have ever done a show on this particular fish. And what fish am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about rock bass or red eyes. And you're thinking, rock bass, red eyes? Those are those spiny things we catch once in a while when we're out there fishing for sunnies and crappies, maybe largemouth bass, even walleyes. Yeah, that's right, but I'll tell you what, folks, they are a fun fish to catch. And if you can find a school of them, which we're working on today, that's what we're trying to locate here today. If you can find a school of them, I'm telling you, you will have a ball. Not only you, but it's a great time to get the kids out because you'll get one on just about every cast. Plus, if I put a rock bass, played it out in the frying pan with a bunch of crappies or sunfish, I guarantee you this, you'd never know the difference. They're very good to eat, fun to catch, and once you get on to a school of them, boy, I'll tell you what, oh, I just missed one. It can be non-stop action. And basically our presentation today, there's one right there, little guy. Oh, it's a perch, this guy. Our presentation today is really quite simple. We're using a very small 1/8 ounce Lindy wide gap, max gap jig with a fathead minnow, and that's it. And we're just going, and I'm watching my locator here, and I'm looking to get on that area. Those fish, those rock bass, like to school up. So I'm looking on my locator for a school of them. I've marked a few, and these fish seem to be hanging right along the break line. Again, you know, all fish relate to certain types of structure. Rock bass are no different than any other type of fish. When they're gonna relate to breaks, to weed edges, rock piles, just like every other fish. And what we're doing is just pitching that jig out, let it go all the way to the bottom, and just kind of jigging it back, almost like you're walleye fishing. In fact, if you can get on a school of these fish, believe it or not, it'll actually make you become a better walleye fisherman. They hit a lot like a walleye. There's one. Oh, missed him. They hit a lot like a walleye, and for a while coming up, they actually fight a little bit like a walleye, especially the bigger rock bass. There's one. That one feels like a pretty good one. There we go. Hey, this isn't a real big one, but this is a rock bass, folks. A lot of people, now I've seen people come in and say they got a whole bunch of crappies and they come in with a bunch of rock bass, and hey, that's okay. They're gonna taste the same way. But let me just show you something here. Be very careful when you're handling these fish. See their dorsal fin here. You can see how it sticks up. They are very pointed and they're very sharp. So you wanna make sure that you kind of avoid that area. And then you can see their red eyes. They're also known, a lot of people call them a red eye. But they're very plentiful in many, many lakes around the upper Midwest. And they school up. And when you find one, I'll just bet you we're gonna cast out here and we're gonna catch a few more. I'm just hooking that minnow just like I would if I walleye fishing, except we're using smaller minnows, right through the mouth, out the back of the head, just like that. And what we're gonna do here too, we'll see if we can get a few more going on a jig and a minnow combination. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna switch over and maybe try a little plastic. You know, a jig with a plastic tail, because oh, missed them. A lot of times that works real good too. These fish are aggressive. For you walleye fishermen out there that you know what I'm talking about, that one got my minnow. You know what I'm talking about when I say aggressive. When those rock bass move into areas where the walleyes inhabit, and they'll be a lot of times in the same areas. They're so aggressive and such a fierce feeding fish that sometimes it's hard to get your jig down there quick enough to have the walleyes get a chance at it before the darn rock bass get to it. But again, folks, they're a fun fish to catch. There's lots of them. And when you get out of school of them, you'll have a ball. There's one right there. Yeah, we're on them now. I threw out a marker buoy. There we go. Now these aren't exceptionally big rock bass that we're catching out here right now. You can catch some really big ones. But hey, if you're looking for, whoops, some eating size fish, these are nice ones. And actually, like with most species of fish, whoops, with most species, well, with most species of fish, they are, you know what, I don't know what I was going to say. I can't remember. Anyhow, with most species of fish, I have no idea. I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. Okay. I got that marker buoy out. Just pitching that in. You know, I'm sure some of you diehard walleye guys are saying, man, Beardsley, what are you doing a show on rock bass? But you know what? I love catching fish. And I love getting on a school of fish like rock bass that are aggressive and fun to catch. And we're just working that jig back, popping it a few times.
There is more rock bass action coming up on the Fishing Scene.
It's time now for the Fishing Scene tip of the week. When fishing for rock bass, try locating them in your favorite walleye holes. If the walleyes aren't there, most likely the rock bass will be, and boy, let me tell you, there are lots of fun to catch. There we go. Oh, I hope he doesn't get in that buoy. No, I got him through there. What they'll do different than a walleye, once they get towards the top, they'll kind of start spinning around a little bit. But these rock bass, again, like a lot of fish, they school according to size. All of these are running just about the same size. Hey folks, our conditions today, our wind is basically calm. We do have a little bit of a northeast wind at about 5 miles per hour, but in this little bay where we're in, the really wind is not a factor. Water temperature is sitting at 71 degrees, almost 72 degrees. There's another one. Oh, I missed him. Air temperature is about 70 degrees, and water clarity is very, very clear. This particular lake that we're on is a very, very clear lake. So what we're doing, we're staying out. He got me that time. We're staying out away from this school of fish because of the clear water, and we're pitching that jig towards the fish instead of vertically jigging, being right on them. We're sitting out in about 15, 16 feet of water, and most of those fish are coming in out of about 12, 13 feet. Just using our trolling motor. We got a buoy out there so we kind of know where that school is. And we're just kind of working that jig back. Now again, too, these fish, they're maybe in here feeding on some kind of insect, small minnows, and they'll move up and down, you know, along the break line, following those bait fish, following that food. There's one. Oh. Hey, he thinks he's a largemouth bass. He came right out of the water. A little nicer one there. Look at that. Something tried to take a chomp out of him a while back. He's recovering from his little run-in with something a little bigger. That's a nice one there. Yeah, they are. Tell you what, and they're thick, solid fish. Nice white, firm white fillets. Now we're going to try. We're going to see. Get one more here on a minnow. And once that minnow is gone, we'll flip over to a plastic bait and see how our luck is on, say, some type of a twister tail. I got a feeling it'll be pretty good on those too. But worms will work, night crawlers, leeches. There's another one. These fish aren't, oh, he got off. Now he got off, I'm just gonna let that jig sink back down. He might have got my minnow, but maybe not. We'll find out. There's another one there. Oh, that one got off. Oh, and there went my minnow too with it. Okay, we're gonna flip over to a little bit of a plastic tail. We put on a Lindy Munchies. It's a 2-inch thumping grub is what they're called. And it's brand new from Lindy Little Joe Tackle Company. And folks, I'm telling you, when they come through the water, maybe Raina can get this, I'm not sure, the water's clear enough, but you can see that tail just, I'm barely jigging that thing and that tail is just vibrating. Now watch when I just pull it through the water straight. Look at that tail just swimming. I mean, that's pretty amazing. You watch, we're gonna get them on this too. I'm gonna move us back over to where that buoy is because we know there's some fish there. And we're gonna flip out this 32nd ounce, or excuse me, an 1/8 ounce jig with this Lindy Munchie, this 2-inch thumping grub, and I'll just bet you those rock bass are gonna fire upon this bait too. The nice thing about using plastics, if you can get the fish going on them, is that you can catch numerous fish on that plastic without having to change it. Versus where, you know, using live bait, a lot of times you're going to have to change after each one. We'll see. Now sometimes, you know, the live bait is the only way to go, but other times, when they're really aggressively feeding, they'll hit these plastics as hard as they'll hit live bait. Nothing that time. Okay, we'll just keep fan casting around here. Now, this might prove my point. We're going to stay in this area here. We're going to keep fan casting across the area here to see if this plastic bait will work. And if not, we're going to switch over back to live bait. We'll see if that makes a difference. More of the fishing scene coming up. Our photo of the week this week is from Madeline Smith of Fargo, North Dakota. Look at the smile on her face with that nice sunfish. There we go. There's a Rocky, I think. Yep, there he's coming. All right. Hey folks, what I did was I went over to my 5.5 foot light action rod and I went down, even downsized even more. I went down to a 1/32 ounce jig and a real small 1-inch tail with a small split shot about 18 inches above it. Just casting that out, letting it slowly sink, and just kind of doing a steady retrieve. Not using any bait as far as live bait. There's one. A little guy. It must be a little Sonny that grabbed onto it. Yeah, I got in a little bit too shallow. Little pumpkin seed grabbed that bugger. So I need to stay out a little bit deeper where those bigger rock bass are. Get it out there, let her sink back down. Check my locator here, see what depth we're at. We're in about 16 feet of water. Just working that back. Trying to work that little jig right back through the school. Better one. That one hit right below the bottom of the boat. Now look at this one, folks. Got a little lump or something on his head there. I don't know what that's from. Other than that, he's looking okay. There we go. Come here, Rocky. Come here, Rocky. Get up here, old red eye. Boy, I'll tell you what, it would be fun to have a boatload of kids out with me right now, because they would have a ball. There's one. There's a Rocky, I think. Hanging down there. That's what I was telling you, folks. They hang down a lot like a walleye. Not a real big one. That's why, like I said, you know, they hit jigs and minnows, and that's what I've done. I switched back over to a minnow. We did catch a few, you know, on plastics, on a jig and a plastic tail. I switched back over to live bait, and I think my feeling is that the live bait, at least for today, seems to be producing a little better than the plastic baits do. We'll find out for sure now. We'll get this one back out there. There's one. Oh, that's fun. I'm telling you. That is a lot of fun. I can bend this 7-foot rod pretty good. Come here, Rocky. Whoa! He flipped my minnow off. Come here, buddy. There's a fish. Well, that seems better than a Rocky, though. That seems different than a Rocky. That seems definitely different than a rock. Oh, it's a smallie, I think. Yes, it is. I can see him down there. There we go. Oh, they're awesome fish, folks. Smallmouth bass. Hey, a bonus along with the Rockies. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Oh, yeah. Aren't they pretty fish? Boy, it's kind of that bronze color. In a sense, they got those red eyes almost like a rock bass. Pretty fish. Boy, they are just that's bonus. Anytime you can catch smallies, that's bonus. She's been feeding too. Look at that belly. There we go. There we go. Hey, folks, rock bass fishing. Hey, don't let people stick their nose up to it. It can be lots of fun, lots of action. They're good in the frying pan, and believe me, the kids will have a ball out there once you get out of school of those rock bass. Please remember to practice selective harvesting. By doing so, we'll continue to have great fishing for years to come. For my camera gal, Raina Benson, I'm Dick Beardsley. Thanks for joining me today on the Fishing Scene. I'll see you out here on the water.